What is going on, comic fans? Welcome to the Legion of Comics. Happy New Year. Happy year 2024 is almost over. Just about 48 hours to go, roughly. It's been a fantastic year for this hobby. If you're a fan of comic books, movies, shows, all of it, there's been something great for any and everybody to enjoy. And we're going to look back at 2024 and talk about some of our favorite things and probably squeeze in a couple of the stinkers along the way. We're also going to run a massive giveaway tonight to celebrate the new year. We have some special guests to help us usher in all of it. Joined as always by the co-hostess with the mostest. Paul, what is going on?
What is going on? I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm fantastic. I want to say the background looks great. Soak it in now. Yes. I don't know if you noticed it, but I left a little Easter egg. If you look up here right by where I would be, if it was just you and I made sure to get the weird head in there.
Oh, yeah.
From our Alien Romulus stream.
Nice.
That was an unfortunate thumbnail, but it looked great before we added ourselves to the screen. But we're going to be talking about Alien Romulus probably and countless other movies along the way. But we're not going to be doing it by ourselves to celebrate the new year. Of course, we had to bring in at Weeks in regular, none other than my sub man, Brother John's Comics. What is going on?
What is going on, my brothers and sisters? It's good to be here.
Yeah, absolutely. Of course, for the big finale, I extended the invitation to Brother John, and AR is doing some family stuff tonight. He isn't going to be able to be here. But even before he gave me that update, I did invite one other person because I wanted it to be festive and cheerful. And I know someone who can bring that energy, and I love hanging out and talking with him. I love arguing with him because I honestly love him like a brother. It's none other than Mr. Cliff on Comics.
Cliff.
There's like this.
Your own token New Year's baby. Your own token New Year's baby. And look, the paint. I got a little bit of the painting in the background for anybody looking for the painting. We got comics.
Oh, there it is.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I got a hole in the slab wall.
What?
I don't like that.
I don't like that. Good reason.
Hold on. Let's fix that.
Oh, I thought that was going to be.
What's going up there?
I thought that was going to be a giveaway.
He looks so much taller when he's not sitting down.
I didn't actually know that he had legs.
I've seen pictures. Like when he stands there and DJ Links is like waist high on him. Was that the Gleason that went up there?
No, that's the Sav.
Oh, nice. Very cool. I just saw a very dark cover. That's probably a Gleason. But hello to everybody.
That's the Gleason here.
There it is. There's the Gleason.
Yes, unfortunately.
Yeah. I want to give a big hello to everybody in the chat, all in one sweeping hello. Appreciate everybody coming and hanging out with us tonight. Go ahead and have your top 3 lists ready if you want to throw them down in the live chat as well, because we're going to be talking our top 3 comics, like what your favorite reads of the year kind of thing, whether it's a single issue or a series, our top 3 movies that we watched, our top 3 shows, ongoing or not. There's nothing specific to this. It's kind of just loose, open, meant to have fun. Top 3 pickups, no matter what it is. If you bought a new car and it was your favorite pickup of the year, or if it was a comic, anything. And top 3 collectibles, which kind of can overlap with those two. What is it?
I said I do drive a pickup.
There you go. Then that could be on your list. It will work perfectly. We're going to talk about all those and probably some other stuff along the way. We'll just see where it goes. And also going to run a giveaway tonight to celebrate the new year. This is how many of these have we done now, Paul? The app years in, like I think I've done one every year, but with me and you, this is our 3rd one together, right?
I believe so. Yep.
Yeah, third or 4th one together, something like that. But along the way, we'll end up doing a giveaway, and I've got a couple things to give away, including this complete series of Sharky the Bounty Hunter by Mark Miller. This was gifted to me from ABX Comics and Games. It's all 6 issues. A lot of people haven't read this one, and if you read Mark Miller's Big Game, you know Sharky appeared at the end, so you could get to know Sharky in this. Some John Jane goodness with Spider-Man India #3, and some Raza goodness with Black Adam #3, so some cool Marvel DC variants. And then in a CBCS 6.0 Avengers 257 featuring the first appearance of Nebula, which everyone came to know really well from the MCU. So we running that giveaway before we get out of here tonight, so don't go anywhere.
And I'm adding 2 things as well. These are both 2 of the all-in. This is Green Arrow. This is actually number 350, but this is the first all-in and the last Joshua Williamson issue, and the Shazam all-in. Both the silver foils with the Daniel St. Pierre drawings on them.
So we got Black Adam and Shazam in the giveaway
Exactly.
tonight. Works out good. I actually watched Black Adam again this morning, like when I woke up, just to throw something on the TV. The movie holds up for me. Holds up really well. It's really fun.
It must have just come out at the wrong time, and maybe Warner Brothers was also possibly trying to tank it a little bit. I liked the movie when I came out the theater. You can check my social medias. I came out the theater being like, I think DC's back on track. And then all these people are like, and now, and I'm like, what do you want from a Black Adam movie? And Hawkman was fucking amazing.
Yeah, I was actually I almost bought the Dr. Fate resin statue that McFarlane did. It's on sale right now for $60. Like they're clearing out back inventory because of New Year. And I'm like, dude, $60. Then it's like $17.95 shipping. Then I put my discount in. It still like comes basically $80. I'm like, that's kind of a weird impulse buy.
James Bond was an awesome Dr. Fate.
Yes.
Yeah.
You nailed it. Yes.
Or Remington Steel for us older people.
There you go. I like the movie. It's I don't know. I think it tried to make The Rock too much of the center of everything. That was my only doubt. The JSA, fantastic. Loved it. It's not how I would have used Black Adam. I mean, he should have been in the Shazam movie if that was going to be how it was done. I think their whole route they went on with The Rock wanting to become kind of the center of the DC universe and bring him and Superman together was rushed. That didn't need to happen. And so I think they got off track there. But as a movie as a whole, I think it tells a good story. I think it's fun. I think it's shot beautifully. I like some of the kind of cheesy moments. I like the music they pulled together for it. So I've watched
Baby,
it.
come back.
I've watched it several times. I dig it.
Yeah, I think this is accurate. WB was about to let The Rock pull off a hostile take over their studio. I think there's too many people actively trying to do something with the DC movie brand. And I think The Rock had a clear vision. Like, look, people want Superman. I can get to Superman with this story. And if people respond well to this, just keep it moving. And that was, as he was doing that, they were actively in talks with James Gunn and Peter Safran getting ready just to let everyone else know what was going to be happening. But it was unfortunate. Yeah. I do like the story they told because it adapts a very specific story from the comics where the JSA went into Kahndaq to try to stop him from taking over Kahndaq and being its ruler, protecting its people, and essentially being the DC's Doctor Doom in that sense. He has his country with his people, and they're good. Anyone outside of that border, watch your P's and Q's kind of thing. I like that dynamic. I like the pacing. Hawkman just stole the show for me. You went beast mode.
But that was like 3 years ago. We're talking about last year.
It's still relevant.
This is the most misunderstood movie of 2024.
Feelings are alive and well inside of us. That's for sure.
Yeah. It's so relevant that we can move on from this. But in the video I recorded today that comes out tomorrow, it's available for channel members now. It's talking about the upcoming James Gunn Superman film, but Black Adam is used as an example to a point that of concern that I have, because of some of the feedback that Black Adam received. We're seeing potentially the same feedback will get hit on James Gunn Superman, but
so this is the 3 things you couldn't let go of in 2024 section.
Yep, this is it. I'm about to spend $80 on a Black Adam toy.
You want to talk about holding on and petty? How about I'm still not letting go of J. Michael Straczynski's freaking the twins of Gwen Stacy. I'm still and Mephisto. I'm still mad about all of that. We're still feeling the ramifications.
Mm-hmm.
That's Marvel. We don't care too much about that, Cliff.
I care about everything in comic books. Everything. Everything.
There you go. We'll I'll loop us back around to Black Adam when we get to TV, because Alex Cross with Aldous Hodge was probably one of my favorites of the year, but it might just because I'm biased towards that dude. I could watch him read a Wheaties box and be
well, where do y'all want to start? What category do y'all want to start with? Do you want to go and start with television shows then, John?
Oh, I don't know. I'm not running this train. I just
There is no
I'm
running
in the back at the
train. This is
caboose,
just a beautiful crash, my man.
This is
so we can start anywhere you want.
Let's start with
TV.
show. Let's start with TV. So we can pretty much go around and we can just name off our number 3 around, and then we can loop back around and do our number 2s and then our number 1. So what was number 3 for you, John?
Alex Cross. The Alex Cross show, it's a tight story all the way through. It gives you a beginning and an end, but leaves you plenty to go, oh, there might be a season 2 that's going to be really good. And the supporting cast is fantastic, and Aldous Hodge just carries it and knows the right moments. I don't know if any of you others have watched it, but he knows the right moments to let the other characters shine and kind of stand out. And, so even though the show's called Alex Cross, it's about a whole team that he works with and all the people he works with in his life and his family. It's just really well done. It's a lot of fun.
What platform is it on?
It's on Amazon.
Yeah. I've seen the Cross movie with Tyler Perry, and what's the other ones, like Along Came a Spider and Kiss the Girls?
Yeah, the old ones.
I've seen those, and I've read like 2 or 3 books, like back in the day when I was living at Pop's. But I haven't seen the new show.
Yeah, it's really well done, and like I said, the whole cast is really good. So,
Cliff, what's number 3 on yours?
Number 3 on mine is not going to be a big surprise. It's Agatha. It was Agatha all along. Listen, they gave me Patti LuPone. Patti LuPone had the best episode of the series. That's okay. Like that, it made the whole year. And like a lot of people are like, oh, you have to really get. I was in. I'm like clearly, I was the target demographic because 2 episodes, and I'm like, I can't wait. Like every episode, I was so excited, And then the big reveal with Billy, I thought that was so great. I mean, I felt a little bit bad for him, but overall, it was nice. And we got Jennifer Kale rolling around the MCU now, so let's get Ghost Rider and his cousin, fighting demons and casting magic and shit. I'm all for it. Let's go get Billy. Let Billy go find his man, his brother first, but then go find his man. And my God, please don't let his man be Hulk Jr. Please, God.
You don't want it to be Hulkling for real?
You don't?
I want the Hulkling. I'm so terrified.
Oh, you don't want that? What we saw?
They're gonna hodgepodge Scar and Hulkling. Now, if they do hodgepodge them, I hope to God that Hulkling, or sorry, Scar's mother is a Skrull, because that would make me feel so much better about the whole situation.
God, it's getting complicated now. I still have to go back and watch that. I've said it before. My viewing of it and many other things was interrupted by the hurricane, and it was near impossible to catch up on everything.
Yeah. Your hurricane relief was being distracted from Agatha. That was it.
I wasn't enjoying it.
Oh, it was fantastic. It starts a little slow, but it probably not in your wheelhouse of what you like anyway. But that cast alone just makes it. I mean, Catherine Hahn, Aubrey Plaza, and then you drop in Patti LuPone there as well.
I think if I go back and watch it, it might be a little bit easier than watching it in real time, because now there's been so much more time to let it simmer and settle and have a mind's eye of what this show looks like. Because it really has and don't take this the right way, but it feels like Saved by the Bell production, but in modern days, or Family Matters or Fresh Prince, you know what I mean?
They certainly go for a level of camp.
Be a studio audience for this show.
It had the lowest budget of any live action Disney Plus series for the MCU.
Yeah, I'm not saying that in a negative way. It's just one of those jarring, getting adjusted to kind of feelings.
They definitely go for a level of camp, like a 90s or late 80s sitcom type of feel to it.
But it has meaning. In the end, it all has meaning.
Yeah, so the houses they go into, one is set in the 80s, and another one is so it's like
The interesting thing is I think that was a fun way to go with it, but it made it still works better now that it's all done. If you can go back in and watch it start to finish and not have to wait a week, to see the next one, because the storyline works better if it's progressive all the way through. Whereas it's fine, those little kind of campy bits of throwbacks to different eras and stuff, they still work as well if you do it all in succession as opposed to waiting a week. I think the story works better if you watch it start to finish all the way through.
And I'll get back to it eventually, but television's been relentless lately with just quality of shows. And John sent me down a couple of rabbit holes at the end of this year that I will end up talking about later. But TM's top 3 real quick were The Penguin, Dead Boys Detectives, and Has Been Hotel. And if you got top 3 shows, drop them in the comments and we'll get to them. Taylor Winders is Slow Horses, Shogun, and Penguin. Paul, what's your number 3?
My number 3 is Silo. I actually was a little bit late to Silo, so I actually watched season 1 this year too. But even to season 2, it's been a long time since I've watched a show that almost every single episode seems to be pulling back another part of the onion. And you get another part of it and another part of it, and you find out a little bit more about the pact every time and what that means and how that relates to everybody else and everything. And it's written so well and it's acted so well. I just can't say enough good things about Silo.
Yeah, big shout out to Austin LeMay. He was the one that initially put me on to Silo, and me and Paul got on it at the same time. We both binged season 1. I binged it in like a day, like it was like
Yeah, I did
crap.
the same.
Mm-hmm.
It's insane. That's in my would be honorable mention list. So number 3 for shows for me is Superman and Lois. While I feel like it had the best series finale I've ever seen done, just as a total, it's definitely in my top 3. And looking at my other 2, I put it at number 3. I mean, just again, it's the storytelling for that show. It's the raw writing and the way that this ensemble cast interacts with each other that kind of makes it unique to itself. It has a special X factor if you're a Superman fan that just really works. And they did an impressive job knowing the tools and the budget that CW has at their disposal. The finished product does not look like it came from that set of tools.
Mm-hmm.
It's just pure love went into that show, and it was executed to the best of possible ability. And then some. Like it still rent space in my head even today.
Same.
A week later,
I've watched that finale so many times. It's just so it encapsulates the whole series so well. And we really got to. I mean, the title was Superman and Lois. It was all about their family and what that means to him being who he is, and we truly got to see, the down to earth of the man, yet the out of this world of the super. We got to see both sides of that and how he balances that and how his family plays into that balance, and the realization, even over the seasons, the realization that that's not something you can balance on your own, especially when suddenly your kids start developing and so forth, that he has to be, this is not a burden or thing he has to carry alone. And, you shouldn't have to. It was just, the whole thing was beautiful. I've watched that so many times.
Yeah, and when the worst thing you can say about it is, when the thing you dislike about it the most is that it was too short and it should have had another season.
Yeah, exactly. It ended. That's exactly the worst part.
Yeah, real quick. House of L's top 3s are Landman, Found, and Superman and Lois. That's solid. Jersey Boys got Fallout, Secret Level, and Penguin.
I want to go back real quick and mention when you read off TM's, Dead Boy Detectives was fantastic too. It just was not. It got no push from Netflix. It got no.
It got buried by Mr. Guess what? Apparently I was a sexual predator.
Neil
Gaiman did not help it.
The accusation.
Listen, as soon as the news broke that it wasn't 2 women, it was now 5 women. That show did not get renewed. Sandman was already done for season 2, so it's a wrap. And then they knocked down the next season of Good Omens to a 90-minute movie. So disaster.
They're done. There's no Sandman season 3 from the sound of it.
Oh no, I'm sure there's not.
No, there is.
Are these allegations or have these been founded? You know what I mean?
These are all still allegations, but listen, when it's 1 or 2, when five from different periods and everything, it's so ugly, man. It's so ugly.
At the flip side, Greek can do a bunch of crazy things, but I immediately think it's an insurance issue. Like insurance companies back these projects and these performers and stuff. And if you can't get a definite timeline of someone's court appearances or the way a case will play out, you can't really insure that project. You could be halfway through filming and someone can end up in jail. So your hands are really tied whether you think they're innocent or guilty, kind of thing. That's unfortunate. Pops has got Terminator 0, Superman and Lois, and Reacher. Reacher was definitely good. Season
Solid
1
picks.
for me was way better. I'm hyped for season 3. J-Man's coming in here with his trash take. I love you, J-Man. But I'll get to Man and Lois. I have to start season 3. Got to see who the boys are crying over this season. Yeah, I'm excited for you to watch it, man. It's such a good show. And I agree with T-Dubs. 2024 was a better year for TV than it was for movies. Yeah, this was the best year for television.
Yeah, movies
in
were
a
rough.
long time. JSS Brooklyn has got The Acolyte, The View, and anything on BritBox. I'm not familiar with that.
BritBox is a streamer where it all just
That's my number
British
2 is the whole
television
Hallmark channel.
Gotcha. Nick Skates and Comics has Fallout, Gangs of London, and Penguin.
Oh, you Cumberbatch that.
It's a shame. Like I loved Homegirl Christine on the Penguin, but otherwise, Penguin wasn't special to me. I'm like they reskinned The Sopranos in one season, except that she was interesting. She was interesting and unique. He's a villain. We shit all over his villainy at the end, just like The Sopranos, and cool. The Sopranos did it differently, of course, but that's all it ended up being. It was
the whole relationship between him and his protege. That was totally different, and that the one person who had any redeeming quality, he ends up killing him as well.
That's what Tony Soprano has done.
And that was telegraphed. So
we know that Tony is irredeemable because the doctor slams the door on him the minute she realizes he's irredeemable. That is her signaling to the audience what he is, and she slams that door. And this show did that in a different way. Okay, but there's no need to yell.
There's clear comparisons, but I don't think it's limited.
I see a lot of the comparisons, but I think that's what they were going for, and that's okay. Yeah. I mean, any kind of mob related media is going to have those same themes,
and it's going to be compared to the best one that's been out there, which is
the execution was fantastic of it, but we also saw every single episode he screwed over somebody.
Yeah.
Right.
Before we
and when if you got to the end and he killed that kid and you were surprised, then I don't know what you were watching.
Penguin is number 2 on my list.
Before we dissect the Penguin anymore, and we're on number 2. So, Paul, it's number 2 on your list, you said?
Correct.
So, boom, we'll just roll into that.
Yeah, actually, and for the reasons that I said, I mean, it was, it all comes down to, the whole series comes down to really all he wants is his mother to say that she's proud of him, in a lot of ways, the whole relationship he had with his protege throughout the entire thing where, he knows what's right and what he should be doing, but he comes back to him anyway and, drives over, he dumps his girlfriend to be with the Penguin. It just, I really think they did it really well. And yeah, there are comparisons to The Sopranos, absolutely. But I still really thought that it executed it really well.
Yeah, Penguin made honorable mention on mine, shockingly. I loved it. I thought it was great. From a technical standpoint, I thought there's so much to really praise that show. The performances, the way it was shot, the way it was structured and everything. It was kind of a dissection of a villain, a true villain. And how many times do we hear ourselves saying about villains in movies or comics, why can't they just be a bad guy? Oz is just a bad guy. Even when it came down to his mom thinking she's his Achilles heel, like they even get her. Like the one thing that we can hold over him because there's nothing that this guy will let be held against him. We'll get his mom, and it all comes down to it. She's not it either. There's literally nothing.
He was going to let her cut her fingers off.
Yeah, she can go too. I thought that was a great play. He's a truly irredeemable villain, only out there for himself, and I thought it was presented great. That's where he was a little bit different than Tony. We saw a lot of similarities. Tony would not do that. Tony would not sacrifice his kid for himself. He might sacrifice his wife for himself, depending on what day of the week it was with how they were getting along. But Tony had things in his life that meant something to him. He had a moral compass, a moral code. Oz does not. And I think that's where they set this show apart in that aspect.
Well,
Yeah.
yeah, but his moral
Tony-
compass was very flawed. He is a sociopath using whatever he could to justify it. So, yeah, no, I don't think anything is past Tony too much.
No,
you know?
definitely
well,
not.
we saw throughout The Sopranos that family was definitely important. He would keep his family in line, and he would do some things that were pretty heinous to keep them in line. But
He
family
killed
was
all his
important to him.
cousins.
Oz just didn't have a family.
He had
You know,
nothing.
he didn't have a family that he
Tony
valued.
killed two cousins. I mean,
Yeah.
his nephew cousin and his cousin. Right. He found him at the lodge and put a bullet right in him. He
Right,
could've
but that's
just-
cousins. I mean,
Those
who
are
hasn't
cousins,
killed a
man.
cousin?
Come
We all
on.
got those are cousins.
You may or may not see them at Christmas anyway.
Right.
What did your cousin and your nephew cousin get you for Christmas?
Yo, Christopher got him lots of shit over the years. And
Look,
what did
my,
he get
my
Christopher
mom,
for?
my mom was the youngest of 11. I got cousins I've never even met.
Ever.
Are
John,
are you Irish or Puerto Rican?
We're just Southern white people.
yes. John, what's number 2 on your list?
Number 2 on my list is Lioness.
Let's go.
Oh,
Yeah, that show. I rolled through season 1 of that so fast, and I was like, I don't know that season 2 is going to be able to live up. And it has. It
And
has.
it
Yeah,
leveled up.
it's like just steadily climbing. It's just so well executed, and Saldana is just amazing. I mean, all of the cast is really good, but she is. I mean, if people think that you can't have, there's not females out there that can anchor a show of that level of intensity and that level of even physical and emotional
The
intensity,
physicality.
they better
That's
watch
what's
that
unique
show
about the
and
show.
see how wrong
Sheridan
they
went
are.
out saying, I want to do a show focusing on the female aspect of the CIA special ops because they exist no matter how few they are out there. So let's look at what their lives look like. And holy crap, it's
Yeah. And she's ruthless when she needs to be. She's compassionate when she needs to be. She knows how to play each angle and each of those kind of avenues. And she's outstanding. The show is just
Nicole
really intense.
Kidman,
and-
Morgan Freeman,
Yeah.
Zoe Saldana. The cast is stacked. The performances are great. The special ops stuff is ridiculously believable. Whoever's doing like the choreography stuff. I'm not saying that it's accurate to real life. I'm saying as a layperson watching it, it looks better than the average stuff we watch when people are performing these special ops acts. Taylor Sheridan himself makes an appearance in season 2 and plays a reoccurring character who, when you see him, you just have that oh hell yeah, here we go feeling. You know that it's that same feeling Landman gives you or Tulsa King gives you, where it's like, I can't explain it, but that's just cool as shit. I feel cool having watched it, and it's a show with that X factor. That's why it's number 2 on my list as well.
That's what I feel like. I like Taylor Sheridan and I like the stuff he does, but a lot of it to me feels like, how can I make these people look as cool as possible?
A lot of machismo.
Yeah. Whereas Lioness, though, it's ugly at times. They look terrible. They look like terrible people, but they don't look cool doing it. It lets the characters be full characters. They're good and bad. They make mistakes. They make good calls. It's fully developed, as opposed to this kind of, hey, here's a bunch of badasses that you get to follow and see. What
just
they
look
do.
how badass they are. Watch this. This is badass.
Yeah.
That's Tulsa King. And it's listed as a comedy too. I didn't realize that. But real quick, Dale has Lioness on his list along with Reacher, Shogun. Heroes for Hire has Reacher, Penguin, and The Gentleman. DJ Links has Penguin, Superman and Lois, and then the Lily Phillips tape, which should have been a series because doing that as a one shot was just crazy. Nick's Kicks has Outer Range, Reacher, more bangers. J-Man has Terminator, Penguin, Reacher, and Sledge has The Cage, Landman, and Shogun. JSS, Shogun, Brother, Son, and Gentleman, 3 for real. There you go. Got a lot of people dropping them in there. Way behind on the chat. But yeah, have you watched Lioness yet, Paul? Or
I have not.
Dude, I think last weekend you mentioned it, and it was the first time I ever heard of it. And then I was like, Zoe Saldana, you know?
Oh, she's a beast.
I was like,
She's a
oh
beast.
shit, I gotta add this to my list. So now it's on my list.
I agree with what Taylor's pointing out here. The distinction, I like making this distinction between something's fun to watch and entertaining versus good quality technical stuff.
Yeah,
That's
it's a guilty
perfect
pleasure
example
for
of-
me. It's just
That's
I
a
mean,
perfect example.
it's just Stallone, and it's like, okay, I'm along for the ride. This isn't great, but I'm enjoying it.
Trev's got Rings of Power. That's controversial. Shogun, Superman, and Lois. I think Rings of Power picked up a lot more fans with their second season.
They're actually starting to get into making the rings. That's why. So
Nice.
Well, what do you got as number 2 on yours, Cliff?
Well, it's really unfortunate because there's so many shows that I enjoy, and 2 of the shows that I enjoyed were canceled. And that was Dead Boy Detectives and Chaos. I enjoyed both of them, and neither one is returning.
So you just take 2 canceled shows and mush them into your second place?
Yeah, I'm going to take 2 canceled shows and mush them to my second place.
What is Chaos? Oh, that's the Jeff
Yeah,
Goldblum.
chaos.
Oh,
Yeah,
dude, that
Chaos.
was so good. Yeah. I
I'm like,
don't know why it got canceled, but when I watched through it, I was talking about it like on every Friday morning because Madam got me into that one. And I told her I enjoyed it till the finale because the way they ended it was way too open-ended for Netflix, knowing that Netflix has a history of doing one-off seasons.
but it's Jeff Goldblum. We should know what should cancel Jeff Goldblum. You shouldn't cancel Jeff Goldblum.
It's got to be the money, right?
Probably, but I'm just saying Jeff Goldblum.
The whole show was fantastic. I love the play on the
Listen,
mythology and everything.
Sometimes you need a strong ass cliffhanger. I thought that was actually a strong cliffhanger. I can't.
Is that a play on words?
Today it is.
I need a strong ass cliffhanger. I use that show in don't take this the right way, but I use that show as an example of how you can make woke content not woke, because that was the most woke show I'd ever saw in my life, and it wasn't preachy or anything like that. It was a great example of like when you go out to do something with a bunch diverse cast, but you're not sitting. They're just part of the cast. You're not like, hey, look, this person is this box, and you got to make sure your viewer knows it. They literally covered every box known to man, invented some new boxes, and put on a completely original, entertaining show where you just goes right by. You get soaked into the story. You're ready for that next episode. You're on the edge of your seat with some of the cliffhanger stuff. You're rooting for people to live. Nervous certain ones will die and hope some come back from the dead. Like that at all.
And the child that breathed, I figured that riddle out so fast. I was like, oh shit.
Oh yeah,
Well,
the dynamic.
Yeah, it's Greek mythology, right?
Oh,
So there shouldn't be but so many mysteries.
Yeah, I enjoyed it a good bit. I did like the dynamic between Jeff Goldblum and the actor who played Prometheus, just how quick he would just unhang him and hang him right back up.
And that's what made the cliffhanger so good, because Prometheus is just chilling on the throne like Jesus. And I was like, yes.
So that's not coming back though.
No, it's not. Sons of bitches.
I hadn't watched it. I was going to start it, but
Don't. I wouldn't even recommend it to anybody to watch at this point, knowing it's not coming back.
Yeah.
And that's the same thing with Dead Boy Detectives. I enjoyed that too, and that's why the 2 of them are my number 2 spot, because they deserve better than their fate, which is ironic considering Chaos is about fate.
We're down to the number ones. The number ones on the list. Cliff, what's your number 1 on your list?
X-Men 97.
There you go.
Give me Magneto. Give me Storm. Give
Gambit.
me Jean Grey. Give me Gambit. Sacrifice his life. Remy, I can't feel you, sugar. Give me day and night. It was nothing. Nothing made me feel feelings this year like X-Men 97 made me feel feelings. Justice for Scott Summers too, although he did walk out of the laboratory room a little too fast after that speech about I'm not abandoning my son. But justice for Scott Summers, justice for Madeline Pryor, everything had me going. It's like, Cable, it's you. That's why Madeline died happy. Shit. I just had me.
I get the feeling, Cliff, that you walk into work and go, to me, my X-Men.
Yeah.
I do. Dude, if you remember during the weeks of X-Men 97, every time I joined the live stream, I was like, I am the lightning. I am the wind that calls to me. I was feeling it. I felt every moment of that show. Even Jubilee's little birthday hijink bullshit. I loved every second. I loved it. I loved it.
I watched a little better than half. I had a method of like I watched the first 2 episodes, watched the third one, then I only watched an episode based off like the feedback, because we're all in like countless group chats. Mm-hmm. So if an episode aired and it was good, people start talking in the group chats immediately, and then everyone else like, no spoilers yet, like y'all gotta watch it. About every other episode after 3, people would do that, and I'm like, okay, I'll go watch that episode. And so I feel like I saw the good ones.
Yeah.
No,
so you just watched the previously on X-Men 97.
Exactly. I'd watch it. I'm like, okay, I'm glad I skipped it.
Did you? Where you got the only one that I would have skipped would have been Jubilee. Every other one was great. Freaking
was the Jubilee the what is it, Mojo World or whatever?
Yes, the Mojo.
I'm happy I skipped that one because everyone was complaining about that one.
Yeah. The second half of the episode is part 1 of Life Death, and like I love that shit. Nice for me. It was very Spanish soap opera with Storm and Forge. I was eating it up. And then the second half of Life Death, she goes, I was told a lie. And the mistake was I believed the lie. I was like, yes. And then the magic of Storm just appeared. Fucking her hair grew back. Her freaking thing came over her face. Her costume transformed. How did she do it? Bitch comes from a line of magic. She comes from a line of magic. That's how it happened. That's who she is.
It hit a lot of people the right way. I don't know how much it moved the needle, but there's another season coming. Bo DeMayo's still behind that second season that's coming, I think.
I know, but they're trying to erase all his shit. I'm so pissed.
That's his fault.
Allegedly it's his fault.
Neil Gaiman acting ass. There's more than 5, Cliff. If you got a rule of 5, buddy, there's more than 5.
Name them. More than 5. More than 10. Name them. You can name those bitches going after Neil Gaiman. I can't name one person allegedly in the Bo DeMayo case.
Allegedly, that they all have the proof on their phone because he sent it to them unsolicited.
When I see it, I will believe.
You've been Googling Bo DeMayo's Wayne.
I will sit here. I will defend that man because people coming after colored queer people for ages. I ain't gonna take that shit like that. I will sit here. You will rub his guilt in my face before I stop defending him.
Yeah, that's why when to that point, that's why I was actually super nervous when they said that he was being taken off the project. Like I'm like, oh my god, what did this guy do for Disney?
Mm-hmm. Let me tell you something.
But Disney's like one of the wokest companies out there, and they just took a guy with a hit show who's a person of color, gay, and an orphan. They just took him off a project. He had to do something really bad.
Yeah, you can piss people off because they have ego problems. Let me tell you a few things, okay? What's that D thing every year? D23? Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
After they got rid of him, they invited him to D23. Why the fuck would you invite him to D23? Don't tell me your asses ain't shady, Disney. That's shady. You invite him.
Shady. I'll be the first to tell you this.
They have no problem.
Let me tell you something.
Yeah, they don't have any values, Cliff. It's all based on legal. So
right, exactly. That's exactly right.
Why would
zero values?
Why would anyone? But Mark, Paul and I are people who live in our right mind most of the time, right? So
John.
Oh wait, John especially.
I invite them to balance me out.
Yeah, John. No, John is always here to balance you out. John's one of my favorite people just for balancing you out. I'm sorry, John. I'm sorry. I love you so much. I hope you understand. All right. So John is the most right-minded person that I know. Then Paul is very balanced. Then we got me. Contracts are terrible. Yeah, but you know what? When someone's fucked up, contracts are out the window. Why invite him to D23? I don't buy it. I do not buy it. Anyhow, people most in their right mind avoid doing stupid shit. Why do stupid shit like that? That is one of my points.
That doesn't seem.
I think you can't. I see what you're saying, but I think you can't discount like I said, it's all legal based, right? And when we say more than 5 people, we don't have a list of names because it's whole departments that worked for him, right? So they're not breaking down and giving us names. This is whole departments of people that have said, hey, I work for this man and he's done this. And I think we can't just say, he's black, he's queer, he's an orphan, so he would never do this kind of thing.
No, I'm not saying never. I'm just saying
he had to have done something. They invited him to D23 because they wanted promotion for this show that they were going to put out regardless of what he had done or what had happened, right? So they said, look, we will use you for promotion.
No,
we will use you.
They didn't even utilize him properly there, okay? They had those two Meshuggah fuckers there talking shit about the show. When we came up with this, y'all didn't come up with shit. This was Cole's idea, and y'all saying when we came up with it, fuck you two Meshuggah motherfuckers. Get the fuck out.
So what you have here is Cliff's number one show as well as his number one low point of the year for Disney.
No, the number one low point of the year is
for
all
Disney.
These motherfuckers and their comic book community drama. Y'all, they've disheartened me so much with that bullshit.
Save that for a later segment. That's a whole nother can.
Put a goddamn bow on that shit. Bury it 25,000 leagues under the goddamn sea, and let's bring in 2025 on a fresh start.
John, what's your number one show for the year?
My number one show is not in any way related to what we normally talk about and discuss. It's season 2 of Shrinking. More people should be watching this show. It's absolutely fantastic. The first season dealt with grief in a very real and funny yet heartbreaking way. Season 2 has been all about forgiveness and the journey to forgiving yourself as well as others. And again, it's hilarious yet real. The people, the characters are like real people. It's been so well done. If you like Ted Lasso, if you like Bad Monkey, any of these Bill Lawrence shows, it's a Bill Lawrence show. It's Brett Goldstein and Jason Segel are the
Harrison Ford, right?
What's that? And Harrison Ford is fantastic. Listen, it's the show that got Harrison Ford to do TV. He said, he doesn't normally like to do TV.
Didn't he do that,
the script alone
one?
What's that?
Didn't he do that Yellowstone one?
Yeah. But like single camera, half hour.
Oh, okay. I see what you're saying.
He's comedy. Yeah. He said he'd never seen a comedy where he felt like he fit. Right. Like people saw a role or an avenue for him to fit because they just didn't think he could be funny.
Right.
He said he read the script and he immediately knew how to be this guy. And he's fantastic in it. The whole cast is great, and it's hilarious and heartbreaking at the same time. And I wish more people would watch it. They've been picked up for season 3, so I'm happy about that.
It's because Apple got that FU money.
Yeah, Apple seems to support their shows with that money, even regardless of numbers. And so I wish more people. It was my number one for the year, though. I couldn't wait each week for the next episode to come out.
I haven't seen any of it. Kyle's watched it. She likes it a lot.
Yeah, it's that my favorite of the year so far. So far, unless something comes out tomorrow, that knocks it down.
Biggie dropped just after X-Men 97 in the mix, and Guess That Key.
Oh, solid choice.
Yeah, I agree with Team. Apple drops they don't have a huge inventory on their streaming service, but all of it is so well done. Paul, what's your number one?
Well, now that Biggie Shock brought it up, I'm just kidding. My number one was Superman and Lois. Absolutely, it was the show of the year. And not only, we talked about how it didn't look as though it was a CW show from a special effects standpoint or whatever, but the acting was just incredible as well. I think at the end of the 4th season, I said that to me it was all about the fact that he was such a great man made the super part all that more glaring. And so it was just, some of the acting, like when Lois, when she turned Clark over and finds out that his heart is missing, she delivers a blood-curdling scream. Those aren't easy to do. As someone who practices them every day, no, I'm just kidding. Those aren't easy to do, though, to act that way. And she just All of them. It gave us everything we wanted from a Superman show, and maybe didn't even know that we wanted.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's like I said, if I would have got everything I wanted from that show, I would have sold myself short.
Mm-hmm.
They delivered so much more. And my number one on the list is crazy to say this. It's an anime. And I'm not an anime guy, but Terminator Zero was hands down the biggest shocker, the biggest shakeup. Huge Terminator guy, and this show did so much for the overall franchise by delivering pretty much like a 4-hour movie. The way that it was all just back to back, and man, it just hit on every level for me. It had like that crazy like Matrix style conversation between the AI and the scientists. We had the cleaning up of the timeline, the emotional beat moments with I don't have all the Japanese names memorized at this point, but between the nanny in the house and everything, and Kokoro, the AI, it was absolutely wild. The Timothy Oliphant as the Terminator, he was relentless. We got so many like classy homages and Easter eggs back to the entire franchise, and it just I rewatched it twice the weekend it came out. It was absolutely crazy. I
You
love
said
that show
anime.
so
I was
much.
going to say he finally watched my Adventures with Superman.
I have not. I tried.
What about Arcane? Have you watched Arcane?
No, my staff wants me to watch that, and I'm like, no, I'm not doing that.
I'm not even a League of Legends guy, but it is so well done.
He's pretty much hit his anime limit for
yeah.
the year.
I understood.
The next time I have an anime quoted hit, you know what I'm going to do?
Go back and watch Terminator Zero again.
That's it. I even checked on Netflix. Checked on eBay. Netflix refuses to make physical media, but overseas they make physical media of Netflix properties, and
they do late releases here, but they do it. Netflix,
not ones that are Netflix originals. Usually, they'll do the other ones.
There's some stuff that might
they may do Dead Boy Detectives, but that's because that's a Warner Brothers property.
Yeah. That's just airing
the series.
So one more reason to make it,
milk it for a couple bucks.
You can get that and Chaos together next week. In Steelbooks.
Yeah, there was a whole table at Heroes Con with a guy selling Blu-rays of like Netflix series and Apple shows and stuff like that. I tried to talk him down on the Monsterverse show, but he wasn't having it, so I'll try him again next year. But Terminator Zero fixed the continuity for every series and movie that came before 100%. I thought that was smooth, super smooth. But that caps it for the shows, and that's probably going to be the biggest segment for the night because the rest of it, the TV shows really dominated this year, like T-Dubs pointed out. There's countless we didn't even mention on, but let's switch over to comics. This is going to be interesting. These are the ones that you've read, that you read, the ones that came out this year. Your top 3 reads of the year. Cliff's thinking hard, so I'm going to start with Paul. What's your number 3?
My number 3 is Absolute Wonder Woman.
Shameless plug. The Absolute Wonder Woman deep dive for issue 3 comes out tomorrow at 10 a.m. on Sector's channel.
Correct. It has quickly become my favorite of all the Absolute stories. It is, and we'll talk about this, you'll see it tomorrow, but it portrays Wonder Woman, I think, perfectly in the way that she's epic in nature. She's mythic in her the way that she acts and interacts with people, but she does it in a way that never makes it feel as though she is ever once putting anybody else down, and that she is doing all of this to better humanity.
She's a benevolent goddess, right? I mean, it's back to that kind of goddess nature of Wonder Woman, but she's benevolent. She's good. Mm-hmm. She's her. For lack of a better term, her subjects really matter to her. And she's portrayed as more of a servant to them than necessarily as this, top of the ladder, ruler type of thing. Mm-hmm. I think it's been fantastic as well. I was late to it and picked them all up and kind of been, jumped right in. That's a great pick.
What was your number 3 pick, John?
My number 3 was Green Arrow and Williamson's run. I just thought him and Sean Nizaki, or however you say it, breathed new life into that character by focusing on his family and making it just felt like an old school, almost like the old school Batman family books. It it made Ollie relevant. It wrapped up a lot of things as to his past, where it's like, why did he make that decision? And kind of brought it full circle back in. And I really liked the execution of the book, and it was beautiful to look at. Like I said, I liked Dazaki's art style, and really enjoyed it. So that was my number 3.
In case
He's
anyone's
doing-
wondering,
he's
Pop's
doing
only
challenges
read
now,
one
right?
book
Exactly.
released this year.
He's doing Challengers of the Unknown now, I think, Izaki, right?
Yes, and I'm really liking that.
Mhm.
That issue 1 was shockingly good.
Yeah.
Yeah, all of the I'm telling you, I've been like, DC's crushing it for me, and I know I'm a DC guy, but the absolute stuff came out with a bang and hit hard, but the all-in other
Even better.
series, have been just as strong. The question's been really good. I like how they're tying it all in with the Justice League Unlimited and how all of these pieces are kind of fitting together. So I'm digging all of that.
Cliff, what was your number 3?
My number 3 is Ultimate Spider-Man.
What issue is it up to?
We just hit issue 12, which ended on a Christmas banger, So like the real Peter is missing. Something is impersonating him. I'm assuming it's some kind of the technology from his suit is like, but I assume that it's going to lead us to an Ultimate Venom. But that shit was great. And now Kraven has him and freaking Harry kidnapped. Love it. Love that the Ultimate Universe is going month to month in real time. Love that. And the countdown to the Maker coming back. The only book that suffers tremendously under the weight of each issue is occurring in a different month is Black Panther, because that one it's made some of the storytelling disjointed, not to the point where I'm not enjoying it, but like it's the most disjointed of the bunch. But I love it. Love that they're doing something unique and different, and that's it. So yes, where Absolute is still very new and people are clearly enjoying it. I jumped on board with Ultimates at the beginning of the year, and I'm still with it. I immediately crossed off anything Absolute off my list. I refuse to give best of 2024 to anything that has less than 4 issues out or 5 issues out.
That's fair. I didn't. I jumped on the Ultimate stuff when it started, and it all quickly fell off. I made it the farthest with Spider-Man through issue 6, but nothing happened in that first 6 issues. Like literally nothing at all happened, and I just wasn't sold. I wasn't ready to like keep a title because I got too much. I've been knocking stuff off the list as more stuff comes out, but I do like that everyone's enjoying it. I know that there's a lot of people excited with whatever happened in issues 11 and 12. A lot of people are talking about them. So I'm glad there's a decent Spider-Man book out there, and that storytelling you're talking about, that week by week, that's that clean continuity. That's what's needed in this medium to keep people reading and to get them expand the titles that they're picking up. Because when you pick up a question or Challengers of the Unknown and you're like, I'll try this. And you're like, yo, this clearly is taking place in the other room. And I just read Justice League Unlimited. I know what's happening in the other room right now. It makes the experience fun. This is when like Superman, like Batman breaks his arm in Batman, he's going to have a cast on in Challengers. And that's how it should be. You have good editorial, and it just makes the whole experience what it's really supposed to be in modern comics. That's what makes Marvel and DC unique from indies and stuff, is you have this connected shared universe. It's supposed to be on the same timeline. So I'm glad to see Marvel's doing that, at least with the Ultimate stuff. That's good news. My number 3 for comic books is hands down, and this was tough. The other 2 is really that above this are really not a quality dispute. They're just like personal favorites. But number 3 on my list, I would argue, is the best comic book of 2024 from a technical standpoint. That's Wonder Woman proper. Not Absolute, but Wonder Woman proper. I think pound for pound, like it doesn't have to be your favorite book. It doesn't have to be your favorite character, but it is arguably like the best executed storytelling book I've read all year. And every issue, you can make that argument with it. It's consistent. It's structured so well, so unique. It's cinematic. It's emotional. Like, how many times this year did I message you saying, holy smokes, I just finished reading Wonder Woman. I'm wiping a tear from my eye. At least 3, right? Like, I messaged him saying, oh my God, I just read Jenny Sparks. It's amazing. Fast forward 20 minutes, I messaged him, never mind. Wonder Woman's the read of the week.
It was my number one. So
Yeah,
Son of a bitch. All right, Wonder Woman is my number one as well. I'm sitting here trying to hold it in, but yeah, Wonder Woman is my number one.
It's not even in my top 3. So.
have you read it?
Because you know what, John, you need to come back to the fold. You need to come back to the fold.
No, I have, for budgetary reasons, there's certain things I just don't pick up. So
that's how I feel. But Wonder Woman earned her keep with me. She earned it.
Okay. I'm not going to argue. I think it's great.
Yeah.
Why does everyone think I'm argumentative just because
it's my number 4.
Yeah, there you go. It's on his list now.
It's on my number 4.
It's number 1 for you and Cliff.
mm-hmm.
I think that's. I mean, it earned that number 1 spot. Like I said, my 2 and my 1 are more like I don't know. It's more of the entertainment factor. I don't think you can find a book out there that like Wonder Woman is an example of like taking someone to school on how to do comic books, and it fits for Wonder Woman so well. Like this same structure and tone wouldn't necessarily fit for every other character, but man, it's on point for Wonder Woman. But what's your number 2 then, Paul?
I had a tie for number 2 because I had to go back and look and make sure that this actually came out in 2024. It was actually on my list for 2023 as well. So I tied. I had Redcoat and I had Alan Scott Green Lantern.
Okay,
Nice.
just so we can just wrap it all in and save some time. That's Redcoat's my 2, Alan Scott's my 1.
Nice.
Okay.
Wow. I was almost going to go with Alan Scott for something, but it did not begin in 2024.
No, but it ended. That's why I had to go back and check and see it ended in 2024.
No, but I still, if it was a miniseries and it did not start in 2024, I also eliminated it.
I got Alan Scott as an honorable mention, and I have Redcoat as my number 1. So Redcoat's on there. So yeah, for me, for Redcoat, it's the history aspect, the whimsical nature of it, how much real history we're playing with and dialing into it and everything. Just the classic comic feel that's embedded into it. You can tell Jeff John's love for the medium. It's just it's been a blast. Brian Hitch's art is fantastic. It's just I love that falling up character because we know that that's not the same character we've necessarily seen in our first ever little taste of Simon Pure. So we know this guy's going to have so much character growth. And when number 7 dropped and we had that bedside conversation with him and Einstein, I'm like, I'm done. This is it. This is the moment right here. This is the moment that carves out a different Simon Pure after this than he was before this moment. And
yeah, I absolutely, as a kind of a history buff, I absolutely love how there's these real pieces of history weaved in, and then there's other pieces around it where you could go, that actually could be true. That could be true. We just don't have documentation.
Yeah.
Train, sorry.
I just wonder if Simon will actually change.
And I can't wait to see about the second interaction with Einstein and Simon Pure because they reference that in the latest issue too. It's like it didn't quite go as well in the second time.
Yeah,
and we get to see the Northerner on the final
it's hard
page.
for an immortal character not to be a narcissist, so he's only going to grow so much in different ways, but he'll always have that undertone.
Well, we know from reading the Blizzard, which was that hidden story inside of the Image Anniversary anthology, that Simon Pure is we can assume he's more of kind of like a badass in modern day than he was back then. I know he's Jack Sparrowing everything in those first 6 issues. He's running for his life and falling into success somehow, some way. But when this creature got loose, they call him. He's like, you go do it yourself. I already bagged him for you once. He's still a jerk, but I think he's a more capable jerk, and I think we're going to see him gain more capability because he's clearly back before he gained his powers. He wasn't a shining example of a soldier even. So I'm not saying his personality is going to become chivalrous, but he's going to be a lot more capable. I'm a discerning Tom King fan, TM. I like some of his stuff a lot. Some of it hot garbage. Oof.
I also did a couple worst comics.
Well, real quick, Alan Scott was number.
Redcoat and Alan Scott were number 2. Wonder Woman was number 1.
Got you.
So
what's some of your honorable mentions there?
These are worst. The worst.
Oh,
comics.
worst. Okay,
Yes.
yeah, this would be good.
My worst comic of the entire year was Batman Offworld.
Yeah, unfortunately.
First of all, because it only released 3 issues the entire year, but also because it just Jason Aaron putting Batman into an intergalactic boxing match that isn't Superman and Muhammad Ali just doesn't really work. For
Not
me.
it.
Yeah, and then honorable mention was the early issues of Flash with Cy Spurrier. I'm just did not enjoy that at all. I felt more like he was writing a dissertation for some sort of a philosophical class than it was a Flash comic.
I don't know how you. I was really disappointed. I'm a huge Flash fan, and it was the first time that I stopped buying. I mean, I've bought a lot of bad Flash books, or not great ones, but it was just boring. It was just like, I don't know how you take that character and just, like you said, it felt like a dissertation. Like he was trying to prove something or trying to show you, X and Y make this, and it's like, just tell a good story, man. And it just was disappointing. It was really disappointing to drop that.
And Cliff, what'd you have as number 2? Did you go through your whole top list?
No, I didn't go through. No, my number 2 is The Deviant.
There you go. Marcus mentioned The Deviant. That's that JT4 book, right?
Yeah, because I am just wrapped up in it, and
it was Christmas all year.
Yeah, it was Christmas all year, but in a very dark way.
Yeah.
But like the fact that, because I don't believe the main character is the killer. I keep processing who this killer is. There's a scene in the first issue that no one references again for the rest of the series, and I'm like really obsessed with that. But the fact that we have a main character whose sexuality is the emergence of his sexuality, his pubescent, adolescent sexual awakening is tied to learning about this serial killer is fascinating to me, So I'm totally tied into it. All 3 of you are all not looking at me at the same time. That is freaking hilarious.
I was looking up The Deviant.
Did another 100-year-old president just die while I was talking? What?
I was looking to see when it started. And I have read it. It's a very good story. It's a very good story.
And one of the main reasons I started writing it was because someone was going on complaining about it being pornography. And I was like, no, you just don't know gay shit. And then so I picked it up.
Oh, man. Yeah, Marcus has been a huge
it is a good series.
Title.
I think he has one more issue left, Cliff, right?
I know, in February. February. Do you know how incensed I am? I am incensed.
So it can be your best of 2025 too.
There you go.
So
there you go. Roll over.
But you know my rules. I don't like to. It concluded at 25. So But that's okay. I'm giving it. I'm still. Most of the issues came out this year. I'm giving it because that book has me so wrapped up. I have so many theories. I'm so into it. And I already told Marcus my main theory, and he doesn't like it. But I mean, we don't have much else to go on my main theory. Unless there's another element that comes into this that's been lying under our noses.
Yeah,
I didn't follow any rules and look at dates or anything, so that was probably bad on my part.
Yeah, I don't think I did.
I mean, I did look a little bit because I was like, Jim gave me the first volume of New Burn, and I thought that was pretty great. I mean, I was like, when that came out, and I was like,
I give myself these rules to help me narrow things down.
Yeah, I was like, that was 2 years ago. I should probably not use that one.
So my number 2 on the list was Jupiter's Legacy, the finale. We only got a couple of issues, but it only took 1 issue, and I was in the pocket. He's smiling because he had to listen to me ramble and rave about it. But that second issue, I'm like, oh my God, they did it. So if you even watch the television show, there's like a huge mystery of like the island that they got their powers. What are these symbols? Where they come from? What's the purpose? They gave you none of that. If you read the books, it's been years. These books have been coming out, and they're so gapped out and spaced out. And Mark Miller's like, I'm going to finally give you the finale. And when you read this, I'm going to answer everything. And he did. And it didn't make you feel like, okay, now we're done with this. It made me feel like, holy crap, I need the next issue now. And if there's ever a perfect example of how, like back in the day, they talk about how Stan Lee never intended for these characters to not age, like Peter being stuck with MJ forever at this age was never his intention. It was like, let him grow up, let the next people take over this. That's what Jupiter's legacy is. If you had superheroes, that you actually go through the legacy of them, like these people started with the powers, but then they had kids, and then their kids have kids, and people live, people die. That's what Jupiter's legacy is. But dude, it is so freaking good. And if you've read these, every issue is a massive, massive payoff. And Jupiter's Legacy stuff is my favorite Mark Miller stuff that he's done on his own work. And this payoff, send off, whatever this finale is every single panel is a treat. I'm digging it. That was my number 2.
Well, I was gonna say too few issues came out for me to, but I agree with you because I've enjoyed it very much as well.
Yeah, he can totally drop the ball come next year. Who knows? But right now, just watching the Utopian just take off in that last issue is like, nah, I'm stopping this. I'm like, can you? Let's see. And it's so cool that he's
good.
It's fun that he has Samson's powers and he also has his dad's rod. You know what I mean? That sounds weird, but he has like a cosmic rod that gives him the ability to teleport. He can teleport the rod, anything himself, whatever. And dude, it's like the most dangerous weapon in all the galaxy. You have like Superman, who possesses all the attributes of Superman, plus the most dangerous weapon in the galaxy, all because the legacy of his family has all come down to him, trying to save his family that comes after him. It's amazing. It's amazing. And real quick,
Marcus is dishing out memberships.
What? So that means we gotta hit boom. Boom. Big shout out to Circumstances for gifting 5 channel memberships. Also, Tate Prime rejoined the membership right before that as well. So big shout out to him. And let's see who scored him. Canadian Survivalists got one. Las Cruces got one. Paul, Ryan, Ben, Compton all got one. If you haven't received a new member welcome packet, even if you gain a membership via a gift like that, feel free to reach out to me on social media and I'll send you a new member welcome packet. And enjoy access to the custom emojis, the loyalty badges by your name, and early access to videos. And be on the lookout, turn the notifications on because I do members only streams and stuff. So there'll definitely be a few of those between now and before your membership runs out in a month if you don't renew it. And those are always fun. Always a good time. Oh, Scrooge just won something. No way. All right, so that's the comic. So we're switching over to.
Can we?
movies
I
now?
want to. I want to. Well, never mind. I was just gonna say I wanted to. I hope you guys appreciated my restraint that y'all had that whole Jupiter's Legacy conversation and made so many mentions of rods, and I didn't make any kind of joke or say anything. All the things that were in my head.
Yeah, there's nothing else to call it. There's nothing else to call it. That's all you can do.
No, but we did notice that you put my picture up for a little while. I'm sure that was you probably.
I was giggling like I was 12 years old.
Yeah. There's the custom emojis right there. Boom. But yeah, I highly recommend if go buy the trades for Jupiter's Legacy and just check it out.
Yeah, no, Jupiter's Legacy is again one of his finest works. You know, although
we're going to move to movies next.
Was what do you call it this year? The his major crossover,
Big Game.
Yeah, Big Game.
Yep.
Was that should have been on my list? Damn,
That
Big Game
was no, that was technically all right. So issue 1 of that came out July of 2023 because issue 1 of Big Game came out while it came out the same week I went on vacation because that's where I picked up my issue 1 variant with the Quietly cover when me and Paul were comic shop crawling. And that's when I said to Paul, I'm going to read all of the Miller World stuff. And I bought Wanted while we were hanging out together. That wasn't this summer.
That was the summer before, yeah.
Previous summer. So that was a 6-issue series that started in July.
I feel slightly less awful about it then.
Yeah, but I did it. I read all of Miller World, 100% of it.
Yeah, it makes sense too because that was actually done with Image, and I'm sure he switched probably with the new year to Dark Horse. He probably switched in January to Dark Horse.
You know, all right. So a side question here, and I don't mean to be so like out of the blue with it, but like when you buy gifted memberships, they just like spread out. They just populate to anybody. You can't control who gets them.
And it's not even always people that are watching the stream. I'll just get random emails. You've been gifted a membership to a channel you watch. I'm like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
I mean, it's neat that it's like, yo, we know this person actually likes to tune in, so bloop.
It'd be cool if it was at least the people that were guaranteed in the chat at the time.
Yeah, well, it's always at least a subscriber. So if
I didn't know
that's a subscriber on your subscriber list.
Got you. That makes sense then. All right, so here we go. We'll switch over to movies. TM's dropping his already. He's got Sonic 3 Saturday Night and Transformers 1 and Wild Robot as an honorable mention, which I also have Wild Robot as an honorable mention. I just watched it for the first time a couple nights ago, watched it again. It was on, the kids turned it on today. They turned it on last night. That's a freaking good movie right there. Like, super good. Well, then,
I haven't seen it.
You should definitely check it out.
I do want to see it.
Is it somewhere?
No. Well,
Okay.
it might be available to buy on demand. I don't know if it's on a platform yet.
I don't think it is, no.
Yeah, I bought the 4K to have for the kids for Christmas time. They're on this big Christmas break. And Finn did his first sleepover at a friend's house a few days ago. So Monkey was hanging out here and needed a win. So we had daddy-daughter movie night and watched it. It was fantastic.
Good flick.
Yeah, I kept hearing people say it's the new Iron Giant. I'm like, I'll be the judge of that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not, but I hear it's close.
That's perfect. The perfect way to describe it. And to be honest with you, the more you watch it, the more it hits. And I think it hits different. Like Iron Giant hits everyone the same way, and how hard it hits you is based off your where you are in life kind of thing. But it hits everyone from the same angle. Wild Robot hits from different angles. If you're a parent, you be prepared to have your knees taken out from under you a few times. And if you're not a parent, be prepared to have your knees taken out from under you for different reasons. It's good. It's really good. Yeah, it's 3 books. 3 books. I found that out. Joe's got Superman, Transformers, and Deadpool and Wolverine. All right, Paul, what's number 3 on your list?
I too had Deadpool and Wolverine. Because I went the other way, is that is if I really enjoyed it, even if it wasn't probably the best technically made movie, to me that's still one of my best movies of the year because I enjoyed it so much. And so I had Deadpool and Wolverine as my number 3.
Nice. I've got it as an honorable mention.
I didn't see a lot of movies this year, but I've got Horizon as my number 3. Just because it didn't do anything terribly new with the Western genre, but it's so absolutely lovingly and beautifully made and shot that I've watched it a couple times, just that part 1, just because there's so many different things to see just in terms of landscape and set, how the sets are done and just angles that he shot. It's just, I'm a Western fan anyway, and it hit all the right buttons for me.
Yeah, I watched that one on HBO. Went back and bought it on Steelbook just because I wanted it in 4K for the experience of watching it, because just how beautiful it was. Cliff, what was your number 3?
This was not a phenomenal year for movies, was it?
No, it was a light movie year.
This was brutal.
This was really the year that got stolen by the Screen Actors Guild.
But let me tell you one movie that I love that definitely deserves number 3 because it was entirely underrated this year. Entirely underrated. And I think DJ Lynx is out there and Mrs. Lynx will agree with me.
Maniac Cop?
Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes.
Yeah, we mentioned that Friday. Yeah, it was good. That one had an uphill climb, kind of being like the restart of the next trilogy.
Yeah. But it did it absolutely right. Did it absolutely right.
Kevin Durant did amazing as Proximus as well. Like that was a very memorable villain. Like
it's a memorable movie. Like it definitely a high of 2024 that I don't feel like enough people were attuned to it or anything, but huge for me.
You've got the older audience, that's like our age that knows the pedigree and the history of Planet of the Apes. And I feel like half of those folks are like, do we really need more Planet of the Apes? And then you've got the younger generation that are like, this just looks ridiculous. I'm not that interested. So
Maybe.
it had, like I said, an uphill
Did it.
battle because of so much that had come before that it was trying to
But
navigate through that history.
you don't need that history, right? Like it's
No.
just like it's doing what it's doing on its like it's its own thing, and it'll probably get us back to the original series or not or whatever. But I mean, like I really enjoyed this, and there's so many subtle like Easter eggs of everything going on there, and I love what the freaking window, what started off as Caesar's window in the first movie, has been completely transformed into this symbol. And it's just amazing how each movie, the symbol takes on new life, you know?
Nice. Yeah, my number 3 on the list is Superman, a Christopher Reeve story. It's a documentary, but dude, it just, I don't know, it just moved me.
That was number 1 on mine.
Yeah, it was. There's really not much to say about that. I mean, if you've seen it, you know. If you haven't seen it, you need to see it. It's on Max. Like, you either know Christopher Reeve already, and this is going to give you so much more insight on him and his struggles, not just post accident, but before the accident. And if you're the generation that, and again, I guess I'm out to offend people. If you're of the generation that thinks that Henry Cavill was the best Superman, you haven't seen this movie, and you might not have grown up with the Superman movies. This will give you a lot of insight onto just who Superman really is, and it is Christopher Reeve. It just is, and this is why.
Yeah, I had that right there. It was a tough call, and I had that as one of my honorable mentions. I had 2 documentaries. I had that and the Will and Harper documentary that were right there, honorable mentions to go into my top 3 possibly. But that everything you said is spot on. I mean, it made me, Christopher Reeves has always been my ideal vision for Superman, because that's what I grew up with. But it just reinforced that. It's like, that's who he was.
Yeah, when I read the comics, I hear his voice to this day. Like it's his voice that my brain is making the sounds of his dialogue.
If you were sitting next to me in the theater, you will believe a man can cry.
Yeah. What's the next one on your list, Paul? You said Superman was number 1.
Right.
You got one.
Number 2 for me was Dune Part 2.
That's number 1 on my list.
It is. I'm trying to think of the best way to do it. It's cinematic, but it's a movie. It's got to be cinematic,
it's
right? But it's just, it really is. I think they finally did the Dune series its due. It's epic and it's panoramic and everything, and there are real stakes, and it just absolutely was incredible.
Yeah, the fact that they could take that story that has been held as unadaptable to a movie and adapt it in such a way where like you don't feel like the lore is left out. It's kind of like the things that are too wild too soon for an audience. There's no reason to take them out of canon or out of the story, but there's no reason to highlight it. Like if we do a movie about like when you watch the movie Speed with Keanu Reeves, we don't have to include like how the engine of the bus was built. So when you're talking about like hyperspace, we don't have to get into the people that are cracked out on spice and they're doing, we don't have to show it. Like there's a lot of assumed knowledge. And that's one thing I liked about even the first one. They don't explain this world to you. You just experience it. You pick it up along the way. And if you missed something, watch it again. And that's one of the great things of it. I've watched Dune 1 and 2 so many times now, and I keep getting so much out of it. Just the little casual things that they say to each other, because it's written in a way that, like, the writers clearly know the lore so well that they can write just general casual conversations with people, but they're saying things that are completely loaded with lore that we haven't explored. I love that aspect of it. Timothée Chalamet convinced me by the end of number 2 with that performance that this guy can lead an army. That's crazy. You just convinced me that this like 90-pound soaking wet kid can lead an army. Like, and I'm sitting there like hoorah and looking for my assist blade and everything. I ain't got one. I was ready to grab it and go to war. It was super cool. And then getting to see Giddy Prime for the first time, where they did like the negative lighting on it. It was artistically, it was beautiful too. It was wild. It was
Damn
good
it.
stuff.
You made such a good case for Dune 2.
What do you got on your list? Oh,
Well, number 2 for me is going to be Wicked.
there you go. I still haven't seen it yet. That's going to be an at-home watch for me at this point.
Yeah, I am still waiting. I am still waiting for sing-along viewings. I am on waiting list at 3 theaters for sing-along viewings. Because every time I've gone, we're all sitting there. Everyone's looking at each other, and everyone's like,
You're trying to defy gravity over there.
dying. And I got a new friend who's friend with all the theater gays. And yes, I want to be there with all the theater gays, singing every fucking song together, just going crazy.
What about the theater straights?
And the theater straights too.
Okay, thanks. I just want to make sure.
It's a trilogy. I thought it was just a two-parter.
It should be a two-parter. I don't know how they're going to drag into a trilogy. By the way, my honorable mention, I got to tell you, Abigail, freaking Abigail, that movie, freaking tops. Great. Criminals kidnap a girl. They don't realize what they gotten themselves into. That little vampire minx is all over it.
What was the name of it?
Abigail.
Yeah, my number 2 and the last one on my list is Alien Romulus. Like practical special effects, actual horror. Oh, dude, it was just good.
All of the beautiful practical effects that reference the first Alien movie, they matched the technology. It was so good.
Yeah, all the way down to like Mother being on board, having the return of Ash with the name of Rook, working for Better World. There were so many Ghost Machine Easter eggs in there. Better World, Rook. It was awesome getting to see a whole mining colony, all kinds of stuff that you see if you read like the old books or the Dark Horse stuff. You got to see in this. Again, it was one of those things where the director just really knew the assignment. He understood what the franchise is about. And coming from someone who's like super nervous that Disney bought out 20th Century Fox, because I love, like Alien. I'm an Avatar guy. I'm just Predator. And now we've seen them. They did Predator, right? Let 20th Century Fox do their thing. We got a good Deadpool movie.
They got Planet of the Apes.
Got Planet of the Apes. Like, dude, it's crazy. Like, I'm like, dude, how are you fumbling these so hard? But I guess, I don't know, just the different studio. Like one studio has better staff. Yeah. I don't know what else to say.
All those were in production before the sale went final.
Oh, okay. So we might be in deep doo-doo still.
Yeah, except for maybe Avatar, but
oh yeah, they're yeah.
But they're not going to touch it.
We saw what happened after Avatar: Way of Water. Dude, James Cameron
can text whatever he wants to anybody.
Yeah, he literally went and got his money from Disney. He's like, yo, I don't know what y'all are doing, what games you're playing with books. Give us our money. Mm-hmm. And he had to go get some of his money that movie made from Disney. That's crazy. But I don't think I just think you stay away from James. Let him make you money. Just leave him alone. Mm-hmm. Don't touch his money. But I'm excited. Avatar, Fire and Ash will be just under a year now.
Yeah, did you see the Batman got pushed off a year?
That's fine. We still have Avatar. Mm-hmm. Y'all can listen to me go stupid for a 3-month break there at the end of the year as we get closer.
That gives me time to watch the first 2 Avatars.
You'll like them. Like, you probably won't hail them as this or that. You'll definitely like them, though. You're a family man. You'll definitely like number 2. And even if you watched Avatar 2 5 years from now, you would still say that's probably the best looking film I've ever seen filmed. Like special effects wise and everything, it's years ahead of everything else that gets released. It's crazy. But the budget on it is insane too. They spent like what was the budget on that last project? Because they filmed 2 and 3 together in parts of ones after that. And they needed to make $1 billion at the box office to break even. And not only did they do that, they made so much money that it completely covered all the costs for Avatar 3 that's about to, every single penny that Avatar 3 makes goes straight into the good. Mm-hmm. They have to recoup nothing for it. They've already done it. Avatar 2 was just way too long. Could have cut like an hour and it would have been better. So I'm of a different nature with stuff like that. like I like the Snyder Cut being long. I like Avatar being long. There's some films that I prefer to be long than short. I don't
Hey, you
need
just want
like
to sit in it for a while and live in the world for a little while.
yeah. Well, keep in
that
mind
makes sense.
like Matt Reeves' Batman's a pretty long movie. Good, because you can go back and rewatch and get a lot more out of it. We're not getting another 5-year gap between it. You know, with
Right.
I guess I still have like that 80s, 90s mentality. There's long gaps between these movies. You give me as much of this world and story as you can. I have more to go back to explore, to talk about, to rewatch between now and the next one coming out. But I understand a lot of people don't like longer movies. James Gunn just announced that Superman, the official launch to the DCU, Superman, the most foundational character to this entire universe, Superman, that everything's riding on, will come in under 2 hours.
Mm-hmm.
What
With
character is that?
With one of the largest casts I've seen in ages.
That's crazy.
What character is that?
Superman.
Oh, gotcha.
The Man of Steel. Superman, who can leap a tall building in a single bound. Superman, who's more powerful than a locomotive. Superman, who withstood Omega Beam blast from Darkseid.
Okay.
Under 2 hours.
Mm-hmm.
With a cast of over 17 notable characters from the comic books.
It's gonna be fast then. Fast paced.
Yeah, but remember, he's not doing an origin, which is what has a large part of the previous movies. Well, maybe not Superman Returns, but obviously the first one had.
I am worried with how much crap he's trying to do, and now you're telling me it's under 2 hours, which there are reasons where that's a good thing, but with a cast this big, this is not a good thing. I don't know. Like, you know what? Like, I just
Sneaking a cameo of Nathan Fillion's Captain Kangaroo. I think that's
Nathan Fillion is the biggest turnoff of this movie altogether. I don't know why y'all think that just because they got him in a wig that matches a comic book character, that makes it okay for him to walk around being hideous. All right, he's hideous. You want to know the low point. What were we talking about? The worst of 2024. Nathan Fillion in that damn wig. All right, and that pop belly in the ain't no white outfit. I guess they're trying to make the Terrific team match.
I pointed that out. They're all wearing Mr. Terrific's outfit. That haircut that we see in the trailer, not talking about the set photos, but what we see in the trailer, that is not how he looks in the comics. People are literally posting a picture of him from the trailer with that haircut that frames his face and saying it's comic accurate next to a picture from the comics that looks nothing like it. In the comics, it is a straight bowl cut with shaved sides. That looks nothing like the comics. And they're like, oh, I had an argument.
I think it looks enough like the comic. They just didn't shave the sides. Just shave the sides.
No.
He looks like Uncle Fester.
He's hideous.
Uncle Fester was bald.
He doesn't.
When he put that wig on, the white coat. Have you seen that picture going around? They even took that Uncle Fester outfit and put the lantern.
The Green Lantern.
Wow,
they need this 59-year-old man running around being Guy Gardner. No one said Guy Gardner is 59 years old. I don't know where people get off. What is this?
I'll be the first to admit at this point, I know nothing of the ages of these lanterns.
Right. Look, we got people fussing about Kyle Chandler being too old to be Hal. And
it is too old to be Hal.
And we got, I think they picked the perfect Jon Stewart, and I've got people fussing at me telling me he's too light-skinned.
They got 1 out of 10 right. The Daily Planet, now this is really pissed me off. The Daily Planet cast looks phenomenal. I love all of them. But who the hell is looking for a comic accurate Daily Planet cast other than me? In that video that comes out tomorrow, it's literally on this topic. And I argue that that's what Superman fans are looking for. That's what, not even just Superman fans, when a casual says, there's a new Superman movie out, I'll go check it out. They're going thinking, I wonder what Lex is up to. I wonder what Lois is up to. What's Perry up to? What's his parents up to? When's he going to talk with Jor-El via some kind of crystal? These are the elements that you think about with Superman. It's like having Batman. You want the Batmobile. You want to see the cave. You want to see Alfred. There's certain elements of Superman that watching him interact with those elements gives you the build of what this Superman is. What is this version of Superman I'm looking at? But now we have all of those Superman elements have to be at play, plus Mr. Terrific, plus Metamorpho, plus Hawkgirl,
plus Green Lantern, plus Ultraman, plus Giant Kaiju, plus
The
Crypto.
giant kaiju can just come and go like it did in the
Well, I'm
comics.
just saying these are all things that we know are there that we'll spend screen time with. That'll be screen time away from other things. But this is an uphill battle, in my opinion. This is everyone's like kind of rebuttal to me is, well, we've seen them do ensembles before with Guardians, Creature Commandos, Suicide. Those are all team movies. That has nothing to do with Superman. Those are all team movies of characters that you can rewrite from scratch and no one will care, even comic fans, because they're kind of throwaway characters in comics. James Gunn redefined Peacemaker and made him someone that people love, and he did a great job. The Guardians of the Galaxy, he redefined the Guardians of the Galaxy and like made them who you expect to see in comic books now. Saying he's doing the same thing with Creature Commandos now. That's not Superman. Superman, you come in and you just usher the character through your movie and give us your little flair on them. But there's things that have to be there. Otherwise, everyone's gonna be like, something's off here, like they did with Zack Snyder's version on Superman. Those elements were there, but something was off because the way that his take on them just didn't resonate. So I'm very worried. I'm still hopeful. I'm still excited, but
I think I
Yo, House of L is onto something. I may spend the $250 to rent out the theater and cry watching the movie.
I think it'll, as somebody who's into all of this stuff, it's exciting for me to see all these different characters, but I can definitely understand the aspect of, well, this is a lot fast, for your first out the gate. I trust that they're going to be, I think these guys are going to be smaller a piece of the puzzle than we realize. I think we've got all those elements you talked about that people want, right? We've got the Daily Planet. We've got that whole crew. We've got Lois. We've got Lex. We've seen
got the
mention
Force
of,
Solitude. We see the
hints of
crystals coming up.
kryptonite.
We see those.
Helix, Superbots or whatever. Yeah, I'm thinking like the format's gonna be straight simple. Like Superman, we're gonna get primarily just Superman stuff. Kaiju Attack is when we have a reason for the Terrifics to come in, and they go their separate ways for most of the other movie till the big ending when he's fighting Ultraman after Ultraman has beat up the Terrifics, kind of thing. And it'll be
all of this.
And then what the hell is that thing in the sky? What is that thing in the sky?
Oh, let's find it. I think all of that's going to be kind of tied together, and we're going to probably find out in some way that Max Lord and the Terrifics are tied together, and Lex is manipulating all of it.
The Engineer is in there. Yeah. And what was the other one that I just remembered? There was a whole other character I just remembered.
You said Ultraman.
I said Ultraman, but the Engineer is in there, and God.
And Flag.
Yeah, Frank Grillo Flag is in there. Yep. Man, it's going to be interesting.
I don't know. I understand why people are worried or think it's over, a little thick with people, but it's kind of like the start of Peacemaker. Peacemaker started with a focus on Peacemaker, but then we slowly folded in, Vigilante and all.
Let me tell you what,
and so forth.
I'm worried. People did not love his Suicide Squad. His Suicide Squad is not incredibly well received, and that has me a little bit concerned. That's one of his big ensemble movies where he did not knock it out of the park.
I think he knocked it out of the park. I think a lot of people. It came out during a pandemic, and it was released on both streaming and theater, and so people had a choice as to watch it. So we don't really know the full numbers of who watched it and when and so forth because of the streaming aspect. But I think it did. I think it did well. I think it's a great. It got
high praise from critics and fans. It's pretty consistent across the board on its reviews.
Did it really? Because I have not been finding.
No, I'm talking about if you were to go back and look right now, the only way you can measure it is by going and looking at IMDb, Metacritic, Rotten Tomatoes. It is consistent across the board in like the 70s or 80s or something like that. I think in the 80s. But it did have consistent reviews. It's not very often like critics and audiences are kind of on the same par. They're normally like very lopsided. But
and all you folks that were gifted memberships, be sure you can go tonight and watch Mark's video.
Yeah,
all the time. You don't have to wait till tomorrow.
No, but real quick,
it's a good video.
Let's jump into the collectibles, and then we'll do pickups next. All
right, can I say real quick my number one movie?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah.
My number one movie for this year is probably it's just because it was the one that affected me the most, and it was a small A24 movie called Sing Sing, and it's about it's Coleman Domingo and shoot, what's the other dude's name? Racy is his last name, Paul Racy, and it's basically about the Sing Sing prison, but it's about a gentleman that was incarcerated for something he didn't do, and while he's incarcerated, he starts a theater program with the different inmates there. And other than Coleman Domingo and Paul Racy, everybody else in the movie are actual inmates that came through the program.
That's wild.
And it's absolutely beautiful. It's heartbreaking yet beautiful at the same time, and it's very meta in that this stuff that we talk about, and this stuff that we love so much, these movies, shows, whatever, they're not just throwaway entertainment. There's a real power to them. It shows that it's very redemptive. It's healing. It can be so entertainment, and people that tell you that art and entertainment are just secondary things. This movie shows the importance of it. If you get a chance, it's going to come on Apple TV in the next month or so, I think.
A lot of the
if you get a chance to check it out,
a lot of the smaller movies that are done like independently are incredible.
Yeah,
I think in a lot of ways because they're so, the directors and everyone involved is just so invested in what they're doing.
Yeah, it's a really, really beautiful film, and I'm hoping it picks up life on streaming and more people see it. So that was my number one. Collectibles, though, when we're talking about collectibles, we're not talking comics. We're just talking.
It can be.
Okay.
This is the anything. Then then last we'll do our 3 pickups, which are specifically comics. So if you got more than 3 comics, bleed some into the collectibles. But that's a mixed bag, just because I collect more than just comics.
Right on.
But Sledge has got a Jordan signed jersey. Horsey Gracie signed UFC 1 belt and a 1970 Chevelle. Good gosh, it was a good year for you, my friend. Wow. And this is a part where we get a little bit of show and tell. We'll just go through all 3 at the same time. Cliff, are you ready?
Sure.
Let's see your three collectibles for the year. Notable collectibles for you.
All right. Well, all my notable collectibles are comic book related. So let me. Oh man. Okay. So I got some. You know what? Hold on. Wait. I'm gonna save my 3 most difficult finds for, I guess, comics. All right. Let's kick it off. Real simple. I found this, and I just can't believe how underrated and neglected this is.
First appearance of the Shroud. Oh, Power of Shazam #1. Dude, that was one of my favorite series when I was a kid.
Yeah,
I love all the painted covers and everything. Pops used to find those for me in back issue bins and everything. I love that run.
This is a great run. It's like phenomenal. This is like a classic run. And now no one, like the fact that I've been yelling at people to go back and read this or go back and read Starman. Like maybe I'm not going to hold this up to James Robinson's Starman. But I mean, I kind of am. Like this is like.
I mean, it's that same. It's that same whole separate world mythology. It's beautiful. It's a great series. I've got several signed ones up here from Mr.
That's
Ordway,
actually the first.
Who's probably one of the nicest.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Oh no, I was just saying probably one of the nicest dudes in all of comics.
That was probably the first comic series that I actively was building out a run of as a child, like single digit age, like that young, that I actively had numerous issues in the run and was actively trying to find more and get more of. Thanks to Pops. My favorite cover from that run is Captain Marvel Jr. with the Statue of Liberty.
Yep.
Yeah, that's fantastic. And the crossover issues with Starman and Bullet Man those covers are absolutely gorgeous. I love those.
So that was just like I was just really happy to come across that this year. The one that found me where this dude recognized me. This guy on eBay recognized me and dropped $150 off the price. Is the first cover appearance of Jimmy Olsen.
Holy smokes!
Dang.
Where did he recognize you from? The soup line? Like, why was he so charitable?
No, he recognized me from my show. He like
Dude, that's
From
awesome.
hugging DJ Links.
What year is that from?
this is from 1950. It's Action Comics 147,
That's amazing, dude.
Yeah, that is.
and
And that's a beautiful
there's
looking.
Jimmy over here.
That's fire. Sorry, train.
He knew Cliff needed
He,
a gym.
yeah, he did. Like it was so fun. Like I couldn't believe it. Like, can you imagine somebody knocking $150 off the price? I was like, what? You know?
Do you mind us asking what that goes for in a 1.8? Not what you paid for it, but what's like the FMV on it?
FMV is $249.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Mm.
You know?
Biggie, why don't you ever show that, Cliff? What the?
Well, the reason I haven't shown it is because the next time you see this will be on January 4th when I'm on Only Slabs.
There you go. Yeah, that's
So,
awesome.
and this is the oldest book in my collection as of this moment.
Yeah, that's truly
Ninety-
to have it too.
99% sure. August of 1950, I think, is the oldest book in my collection at this moment.
Wow.
So that was
not
number.
there buying one right now. He's like, yeah, I want that book too.
And then this one was also a little bit of a challenge. I won this in an online auction, and it's the first American appearance of Captain Britain.
Yeah.
And like in a 9.2, it just so good.
Not at all.
Yeah, this was on my things I want list for 2024. So I was really happy that I got this, and I got it at a very reasonable price.
Nice. So 3 solid collectibles there. Paul, what you got for collectibles this year?
I actually only had. Well, I have collected a whole bunch more Green Lantern figures.
You did. It was a good year for McFarlane, wasn't
It
it?
was a good year for McFarlane. But my collectibles were the same as my comics too, and I actually only had 2. But my collectibles that I had this year, this is Batman 121, the first appearance of Captain Zero, Mr. Zero, otherwise known as Mr. Freeze later on. So there was that. And then the other one was Adventure Comics number 247.
Nice. Good gosh.
So those are my 2 big collectibles that I got this year.
Those are definitely big collectibles. Muted, John.
Yeah, I didn't want Paul to hear what I was saying.
there are kids listening.
Those aren't collectibles though; those are comics.
But
Those are good collectibles. Like I got the Ductus League.
Nice. The Douglas League.
I love those guys, right? And then I got picked up from Spidey Powder Tumblers. Got this Stinkor.
Oh, nice.
I don't really do collectibles normally, so. And then I showed it on Instagram. My super dope Brainiac 5 that Digger
What?
Jim got me. I
Ooh,
love that
is
guy.
that a statue?
Yeah, it's like a little figure statue guy. He's
Nice.
got his own little stand, but
Very
he's out
cool.
of focus. Those are my collectibles. I don't really do collectibles, so when they come along, they're all my favorite.
Boom.
Like,
There
who
you
doesn't
go.
want a Stinkor? I don't even follow. I don't even watch He-Man, but Stinkor, heck yeah, I'm on.
Keep it. Who knows?
There's a movie.
He-Man's coming back.
Yeah, a movie coming with Jared Leto. It's gonna
Maybe
be
Stinkor will be a big part of it.
Of course he will.
So for mine, this is a new one. I still haven't taken it out and built it yet, but I was ridiculously excited for it. I got some of those YOLO Park Transformer figures that you actually piece together yourself, and I built them with the kids. And I got a Optimus Primal, and I wanted an Optimus Prime, and I got the one from like the most recent movie, but they did it like a deluxe version for the Michael Bay Optimus Prime from the latter films. And that's like my favorite design for Optimus. And he comes with all kinds of accessories and stuff. And I'm really hyped to put this one together. It's actually die-cast metal pieces to it this time. And dude, I'm just waiting for an opportunity to be able to sit down and actually build it. But I was super pumped to get that. I'm a big Michael Bay Transformers fan. But also, this was a year of steelbook collecting for me. Like I went hard in the steelbooks. I'm a physical media guy, but I've like leveled up to the 4K steelbooks. And it all really started on vacation when I got Starship Troopers on Steelbook while I was on vacation to have something to watch with Finn. And if you need a good movie to watch with your, at the time, 6-year-old, Starship Troopers is it.
I would like to know more.
Yeah. But since then, like I went wild, and this is probably my favorite Steelbook. It was the hardest one to obtain. It was the most expensive one as well, but it was the first Kick-Ass. And when I got this, because I was on a Mark Miller kick, when I got this and I saw like this crazy dust jacket feature it had and everything, I'm like, dude, I need more of these. These are just absolutely wicked. And now I've got a lot, a lot in the last half of the year, but this is the one that really fired it off for me once I got that. And then for my number one, they do the McFarlane figures. And I know this is in Paul's background as well, but this is by far the biggest McFarlane win of the year. What is it, Paul?
Is it one of the Batmobiles?
No, it's one that you have. It's a different one you have. The figure, not Batmobile. I got all the Batmobiles, but the single greatest score on the McFarlane figures this year.
Agent Liberty?
Spectre, yeah.
Hal Jordan Spectre.
The Platinum.
Yeah, this Joker, I looked it up right before the stream. Last sold for over $200.
Yeah,
that is fire.
But I'll never sell mine.
I forgot. I could have bought the Batman Forever Batmobile, the McFarlane Batmobile. I could have brought that.
Yeah, I just put mine back on top of the shelf yesterday. It's way up there in the air right now. But I've got the Batman and Robin one still in the box, not open, and the Michael Keaton one I need to still open from Batman 89. But yeah, this was we won it in the lottery.
Exactly.
We were lucky to get chosen by the lottery. Yeah, otherwise you would have had to pay a lot of money for it on the secondary market. But let's go back through. Now this is it. Your top 3 pickups, specifically comics at this point, which
so these are pickup comics that I read.
No, just your biggest pickups of the year. It could have been the ones you just shown us, but I've got my 3 biggest comic pickups of the year to show.
All right. So the biggest pickups of the year. All right. And I guess it begins.
It ain't necessarily like monetary. It could have been the best deal you got on something, or
no, they were a deal, and well, a little bit of a deal. This one this was another auction, and I fought tooth and nail, but I feel real good about it. I paid $130 for it, and it's an 8.5 Marvel Team Up number 1.
Ooh, nice.
Oh, nice.
Oh, fire. Nice.
Now, I love everything about this. I love that it's Marvel Team Up number 1. I love that it was on my personal list for this year. I love that it takes place at Christmas time. I love that the woman that Spider-Man saves in this issue turns out to be Misty Knight later. I love everything about it.
Is Human Torch halfway through transformation as well on the cover?
No, it's just that he's getting Hydra blasted, and it's not healthy. As when you're firepower, people with intense water power. This is before Human Torch realized that he could do shit like go supernova. The only person who could match Human Torch's cosmic craziness is the Omega levelness of Iceman at this point. There should be no one. There should be no one that can touch those two in their elemental ranges. All right, next up, and this one, I got it for $77. I'm so freaking excited. Also on my list this year, and it's this 9.2 Invaders number 1.
Dang.
Also off of an auction, where I was fighting tooth and nail, and I was so scared because I put my max bid in at like $90, and I was like, please don't let it hit 90. Please don't let it hit 90. And I was very happy that I was able to score it for 77. And again, this year I was trying to dedicate to Marvel Team Up Defenders and Invaders. And I kind of got it. I kind of did all right, but this is a big one. And then the last one, which again, another Battle Royale. This one was on eBay. This one has a long-ass story where someone tried to get me for a 7.5 for $300, and I was having none of it. And I got this for $217 on eBay, an 8.0 Marvel feature number 1.
Hey, nice. Oh. I can't remember if I graded mine or not, but First Defenders.
That's
this
beautiful.
This one, I believe, this is like all my, oh my god, I gotta send my 6.5 to I got so many things to send out. But anyhow, this was like my, and by the way, I won this and a 6.5 at the same time. That was devastating. But this is like the culmination of like, I don't know. There was like, I got this in August. There was just like months of me trying to get this book, you know? And then it finally happened. I got this beautiful 8.0 for the wall. I'm thrilled. And of course, the complete and unedited story will be told on Only Slabs next Saturday at 2:30.
I'm excited to get that 6.5 though, man.
Yeah, no, that will be Lady Fantastics.
Oh, okay.
Mine's the same, so we can move on to the.
Boom. There you go.
The same? No.
Well, he
Not the
showed
same
all
as
these
you. The same
books.
as what I had before.
Yeah, I got a
Yeah,
couple.
books.
You know, I showed this. I got this.
Oh, yeah.
The Our Man book that Jim gave me for Christmas. That was a huge score. I've been watching this book for a long time and wanted to get it, but I wouldn't spend what the guy was asking.
I wonder how many are on the census. There can't be a lot on the census.
Is that
There's only two. There's only two on the census. Yeah.
Oh my god.
So there's two 9.8s, and that's it. So
it was just no one keeping their eye on this series.
I mean, nobody read it. It's not a key book.
Just
it's
me.
hardly anybody read it.
I love that series.
Me too. I absolutely
You know, him
loved it.
running around with Snapper Carr. I love it.
Yeah.
I love that issue.
It was just wild that it was the main character was an android, but it dealt with. It was the first comic book that I read that dealt with real mental health issues from a real standpoint. Yet it was this
more
android.
people probably searched him out after he appeared in Jeff Johns' miniseries than when it originally came out.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I'm not going to get it down. That issue 2 of Justice Society of America up there. I scored that this year, and that was a big one for me. And then those are hard to find, so I kind of had to lower. I wanted 9/8 on everything. I had to kind of lower my standards. I was able for $22, and that's everything. Pick up this the Black Adam one, and that's a 9.6. So I'm happy about that. And I don't know the dude I bought this from. I just did it on eBay, and he had it listed, for 30 something. And I said, hey, how about $22? And he said, yep, that'll work. And then he said, when he sent it, he was like, I didn't have any bubble wrap. So he just stuffed a bunch of comic books in there to pad it. So for like
Cyberport, nice.
Yeah, so for like $22, I got that, a bunch of Justice Society issues I already had, but I don't care. That's awesome. Just all
Did he
sorts
stuff
of cool
any
stuff
Turok
he threw
ones in
there.
there as any cannon fodder? Any Turok ones hiding as cannon fodder?
What's that?
Are there any Turok ones in there?
No, I wish, man. I'd have been all over that. And then just because I just got such a good deal on it, $18.
Whoa.
Hey,
I got this.
That's such a good homage.
Yeah, and man, sorry it's so blurry and glary, but I couldn't pass that up.
I forget what issue it was when Perez did the same homage in the 80s.
Yeah,
it was in Action Comics. Like 651 or something like that, I think.
Remember that'd be another good one to get as a companion piece for that.
So those were most of my pickups. I had for the year. At least I'm always trying to find bargains and I can get cheap.
Yeah, I'm the same way. That's pretty much where mine are. So this was a recent pickup. So number 3 on my list was a Fantastic Four 49 that I got at that comic thing here locally that me and Pops went to. And I had no intention of getting this. I didn't go in there, but when I saw it and saw the price on it, and then I haggled them down significantly off the already under FMV price.
As only Mark can do.
Well, I just spent like, I had $150 tab that I got them down to like, it was like 185 and I got them down like to 130. Got them down like $50 off my original tab. And then I saw this. I'm like, well, can you do it for this price? And I got them down like another $60, $75. So I'm like, dude, that's a killer deal off the whole thing. So I went ahead and got that. It is missing an ad page. It doesn't affect the story, but for the price I paid, I'll never see it again for that cheap in the wild. And I'm an in the wild kind of guy when I can. So that was a huge score. And then number 2, I think this is probably my biggest find of the year easily, and that's Space Adventures number 33, the first appearance of Captain Atom. This
Dang.
book, you're hard pressed to find this under 4 figures because it's
Yeah.
just not out there a lot. And I've always told myself if I find it under 4 figures, I'm going to have to jump on it. Well, I found it significantly under 4 figures, and I messaged the guy and went back and forth with the guy and got it for a good bit cheaper than he had it listed for. And this has got to be my best pickup of the year, kind of completing
Definitely.
the Charlton first appearances kind of thing. Because I also got the first appearance of the Question this year with Blue Beetle.
Mhm.
I got that at Heroes Con, along with Ghost Rider's first appearance and a bunch of other stuff. But that was my most shocking pickup for me, like that I watched and never thought I'd run into. And then my number 1 pickup of the year came from Heroes Con. This was another haggle battle, and it's Incredible Hulk issue number 2, the first appearance of the Green Hulk.
Woo!
You know, I'm always chipping away at those, and I was happy to add my first restored.
Little
Into
purple
the
labels look
collection.
nice.
Mhm.
Yeah, it looks good with the green, and on top of that, like I'm still kind of in like the old school mindset. Like it's just kind of a new school thing that purple label kills the value of stuff. It used to be you wanted your books conserved, not like some kid drawing on it, but actual like restoration done to it. You know, so I'm
Well, we got a lot of crazy purists out there that they want it like it could be a 9.8, but they don't want to see off-white pages. They only want to see white pages. You know?
But
And
then
like,
if you look at all these creators, like when you see like these people with big money who are like in the comic industry for their whole life, they're buying mega keys and they'll share them every now and then, and they almost always exclusively get purple labels because
but
they're still that
the
mindset.
mega keys are not surprisingly restored because you're right, because you do want them conserved. And that guy who's got the CGC vault, whoever that dude is, I can't remember his name, but you've all seen him. Like he was talking about how you're just not going to find, good quality stuff. Like he was holding the first appearance of Alan Scott, and it was restored label, and he's like, "You're not going to do better than what I'm holding right now." And I was like, "Well, damn."
Well, if you say so. Yeah, it was a ridiculously successful year for picking up. Like I got like the first Creature Commandos and Metamorpho. I got countless books, so much so that about halfway through the year, I'm like, I'm kind of I haven't had a hankering to buy any keys anytime recently. But that's fine. If I stumble across something like that,
There are
like
so
that
many
Fantastic
keys.
Four,
There are so many keys calling to me, and I'm so angry because I just keep trying to hold back every penny for Heroes Con. Just holding so tight for Heroes Con.
you got to get that money into a separate account.
It is a separate
much-
account.
Yeah.
So much of the stuff that I
I have
want,
3
nobody else
accounts.
cares about.
Three.
So I have a little easier time, you know. But it's until you find like there's one guy out there that has a boatload of these, and he knows he's the only guy who has them.
I was chipping
and
away at
so
him,
he-
going back to the well.
Yeah, so he's like, all right, I mean, he's just asking astronomical amounts for them that they're, and it's like the book's not worth that. And he was like, well, it's the only one out there. You know, take yours and send it into CGC and wait several months and, you know, see how it comes back to you. These are all 9/8. It's like, so I kind of get it, but you know, it's like, it's all right. I'll move at my own pace. I can wait you
So
out.
let's get ready to do some giveaways here.
Give it away now.
Ooh.
So Paul's got a giveaway. He's got which ones are these?
These are the first Shazam and Green Arrow in All In, the silver foil with the Daniel Sampier. This is actually the 350th issue, legacy issue. It's also the last Joshua Williamson issue as well.
That was such a good run.
Yeah, exactly. So there's that. These two.
Boom. So let me share this. We'll run this one. So get the hashtag in there. If you watch the channel, you know what the hashtag is. You know what the hashtag is. And Paul, what are shipping restrictions? Is this U.S. only?
No, I'll ship anywhere. I don't think I have to check with our post office. I'm not sure they're shipping to Canada yet. Even though they forced everybody back to work up in Canada, they were The last I read, they were still going to hold off a couple of weeks before they decided to accept any more Canada packages because they were all sitting in a warehouse
A
somewhere.
little bit backed up, huh?
Yeah. Yes, there's some postal constipation going on.
At one time, Paul had a shipping restriction to only send to John's house.
It really did.
Yeah, I missed that. It was good times.
And if you're on the John and Cliff, make sure y'all enter as well.
Oh, because I'm already all up in it. I mean, I'm in this giveaway. I'm in Trev's giveaway. I'm in all the giveaways right now.
He's just floating around other channels.
I'm not alone. Freaking Joe is over in the other channel. Like, I'm still watching Legion. I'm trying to watch both of you. And I'm like, that's right, bitch. I'm literally on another live stream. I'm trying to keep eyes on everybody.
Oh man, C Bizzle's getting on.
All right.
Actually, one job. So many people are entered.
You got to move you up then, because like on my screen, you're blocked at the bottom mark by all the chat, and Cliff's not even paying attention to this anymore. He's already checked out.
He's on a different channel. That works good. Just let everyone see him. Shame.
Yeah, everyone, please. I'm not the alone. We all jumping back and forth. It's hilarious.
All right, so let's see how many we got. 22 entries in here. I'm going to spend about 5 seconds. Got 28 watching. Hopefully, it did not miss your hashtag. So feel free to put them in there more than once. The Adventurous Joe is onto something with that. These StreamYard giveaways are not perfect in collecting comments. It does pretty good though. So here we go. Let's see who's going to win this one, and then we'll just respin here in just a second so that the same hashtag works. T-Dubs. Taylor Winder. Congratulations.
I know I have your address, Taylor, unless it's changed, because I know I've sent you a big tabloid one that you didn't realize was a big tabloid one.
Oh yeah, from the Christmas episode.
Exactly. He won Paul's Hall. No, he won Paul's Hall.
Nice.
Paul's Hall. All right, next giveaway is going to be the stack here. We've got Black Adam issue number 3, the Raza variant. I specifically pulled this one out of my giveaway box because I'm hyped on Black Adam from watching it today. But it is a ridiculously sweet cover.
Fire.
Yeah, it's nuts. And this was a great series too by Christopher Priest. Like, fantastic series. Spider-Man India number 3, the John Jang variant, because we got to go Jang Gang around here. And for the Miller World fans out there, and if you have never read it, most people I think miss this one, but Sharky the Bounty Hunter, the complete set from Mark Miller and Simone Bianchi. And this is given to me by ABX Comics and Games, so it's going to be going to one of y'all. I got the trade paperback, and he asked me if I wanted it, and I said I used it as a giveaway. So there it is. And then last but not least, Avengers 257, the first appearance of Nebula, with a really cool Reach for the Stars back cover. Yeah, I don't know how many of these I've given away. This has got to be at least the 4th one. I come across this. There's certain books I come across a lot, like the first Bishop, the first Nebula, and I'm always picking them up. They're affordable, cool keys. Cool, affordable keys. So let's see. Let's get this back up. And we're just going to draw again. I think, there's a draw again button. There's still 21 entries. So get the hashtag in there if you haven't put it in there already. And we'll spin for this in about 10 seconds. What do you got planned for this week, Cliff, on your channel?
Monday night, New Keys and Hot Comics, our last episode of the year on the Council of Comics. Tuesday, at 7 p.m., we're going to do 45-minute special and do the winner of our 1K giveaway. And of course,
nice.
Maybe if we're lucky, we'll have some special guests. But for our 1K giveaway is worth over $1,000. There's the first Spider-Gwen, some San Diego, blah, blah, blah variant, but it's first print, so it counts. It's still Gwen's first appearance, Spider-Gwen's appearance.
I thought you were going to say that you have $1,000 books for one lucky winner.
No. We got 56. We got 56 raw books, multiple toys. There's 3 slabs, including Something's Killing the Children, number 1, 1 in 25 foil.
Wow.
the Daredevil that I don't have near me, which is the defeat of the Unstoppable Man and the death of what's her name's friend, Black Widow's friend there. Oh my God, what was the other slab? We have another slab.
Leave it a
And-
mystery. Let people find out. They'll say
Yeah,
you've got to be
there-
there. You've got to be there to find out.
There's so much stuff, but I think the first Spider-Gwen, even though it's the fact that it's a, what do you call it, cover, I think it is a lot.
And when is
then
that? You're doing that?
And then the 1 in 25, Something's Killing the Children foil is also very impressive.
Heck yeah. When is that?
Tuesday night we'll announce the winner. We've been collecting ducks all month. Nerdy Geek got 2 ducks tonight, so we're gonna have a mega duck race on Tuesday, amongst other things.
There we go. So we're about to draw for the winner of this one, and then don't go anywhere. I'm going to show you. This is a crazy week on the channel for giveaways. This stream kind of butts up against next week is the Legion Loot drawing. So I'll show you all what we've got for that, and then I already have the DC Day stuff as well. So we're going to spin this, and then I'll show you guys that, so everyone has time to jump in that. So,
And
go ahead.
My birthday on Wednesday, January 1st, and I will do an afternoon stream too for that. And also, I did hit 1,000 subscribers myself, so I'll probably have something special that day.
Hey, there you go. There you go. Big congratulations on making it another trip around the sun, my friend. So the way shipping works on this, on giveaways that are, it's going to be free shipping to the United States, free shipping worldwide if you're a channel member. If you are not a channel member, I can give you a shipping credit and you can pay the difference, or you can prize tag somebody. I do too many giveaways to ship international and all these things all the time. It's very expensive. So here we go. Good luck to everybody. Paul, is it a Guess That Key week?
It is not.
Boo.
Boom, Ryan Riley. Congratulations.
We are taking this. We will be back on the 15th, and Cliff will be with us, as well as Tony Gross Comiverse.
That's right. I'll be your first guest for 2025, baby.
Mm-hmm.
So
for
Ryan,
you,
Ryan, shoot me your address again. I know that I got it. So because shipping's been cattywampus ever since Diamond shut down that warehouse, and it's also the holiday season, and I live in the Bermuda Triangle of the USPS, I went ahead and picked up the new DC Day books to give away on Tuesday. So this won't be all of it, but the main theme is definitely going to be Metamorpho, the Ian Bertram variant, and the foil one. And of course, we always do the throw-ins and all that. But Legion Loot stuff that'll be going in for this month. You know, I've been talking about it. January is the Aquaman themed Legion Loot. First appearance of Ocean Master in there. The Blue Suit Saga is in there. Some signed Aquaman stuff. Definitely going Aquaman theme for the return of the King. Finally, after 5 years of listening to me complain about not having an Aquaman ongoing, we have one. So we're celebrating with the Legion Loot. But this month, it's going to be a little bit of a mixed bag. We've got Silver Surfer 44, the first appearance of the Infinity Gauntlet, and then just some really fun. These things are awesome. You're going to keep seeing these on me and Paul's channel. The what's this one called, Paul?
It's called a UV raised foil.
The UV raised foil, and that's a wraparound. This amazing Terminator. Creature Commandos #1, the Jim Lee variant.
Nice.
Absolute Superman #1, the Noir edition, Virgin foil. The Question that everyone's raving about, and New Gods #1, which is a freaking banger. Oh my god! Oh my new god! But of course, then we're adding the big time collectibles exclusives into the mix as well as some other stuff. So be sure, if you're a channel member, make sure you're a channel member in the Legion tier. You have till next week to upgrade, and you have till next week to join if you haven't joined. And we'll spin the wheel, and it'll be a blast. Paul will remind me before him and I jump off screen. I'll end the stream without running a wheel in a heartbeat. But I appreciate Paul reminding me. And thank you guys for hopping on tonight.
Thank you for having me.
Thanks for having us. Absolutely.
Next year is going to be even better. It's the only option it has. But this was definitely a good year for the hobby.
Definitely.
But until we meet again, hope everyone has a good night. And as always, we are Legion.